Liverpool 2, Wolves 1. A game that Liverpool started well. It looked like it was going to be an easier game for Liverpool, having the 2-0 lead. Luis Diaz looking so threatening. But Liverpool came out in that second half, and to be honest with you looked dreadful. I don't think you created any XG in the second half. Wolves had 7 or 8 shots to Liverpool's 0 before Liverpool's goal. And that Liverpool performance, I'm going to be honest, you look like Man United in that second half. You look like Manchester United in the second half. Now, luckily, in the first half, you've done your job. But Liverpool, you're 7 points clear of Arsenal. Arsenal have got an injury crisis. It wasn't the most convincing win for Arsenal versus Leicester. But Liverpool looked really shaky, really nervy about the title race when you're 7 points clear of a team in a big injury crisis. You'd think Liverpool would be more comfortable. They dropped off in the second half versus Everton, and they dropped off again today. And that's not like Liverpool, because under Slot, you have normally been better in the second half. Now, what I will say is the fatigue is there. You can see it. Gravenberch and McAllister are so good, but they're playing nearly every game. You can see it in the legs. Mo Salah looked really fatigued at the end. I'm surprised maybe he didn't give Chiesa a 10-minute run in. I understand if it's 1-1 or you're 2-1 down, keeping Salah on, because even if he's poor, he could get a goal out of nowhere. But if you're winning, you just need a bit of the legs, a bit of the work rate. And you weren't creating anything in attack going forward. Nothing was happening in attack. Maybe Chiesa could have come on. Now, I think Arne Slot did actually get his substitution spot on for the most part, because I have to say that was Quansah's best game in a while. I thought Quansah looked really good. I think having Van Dijk next to him probably helps him a lot. I thought Conor Bradley had a much better game than Trent. But it was Van Dijk holding that defence together. For a lot of that game, it was Van Dijk holding that defence together. Then Quansah comes in, he makes a crucial tackle. Conor Bradley does well 1v1. There was a bit more defensive stability there. But Liverpool have been quite rock solid in defence. It was gettable. Now, I still think Liverpool win the league, but that wasn't convincing. Like, if I was a Liverpool fan, I wouldn't be convinced by that win. There's 13 games to go. Arsenal have got to get 7, technically 8 points because of the goal difference to catch you, and they don't have a striker, and they're very thin. And you've got Manchester City next. That's a big test. I think if you beat Manchester City next week, that's probably somewhat the title guaranteed, because Arsenal will drop points. I think Liverpool will ultimately drop points. But I thought that second half performance from Liverpool was poor. It wasn't convincing. But at the end of the day, you only need 3 points. Would you rather have an unconvincing second half and get 3 points, or play really good in the second half, miss loads of chances, and Wolves get a lucky goal and you walk away 2-2? I think every Liverpool fan wants the 3 points, because that extends your lead in Arsenal. If you draw that game, Arsenal will think, oh, it's 5 points now, and we've got to play them, so we can reduce that 5 points to 2 points. And if they drop points again, then we can catch that. Whereas now getting the 7 points, it's more discouraging to Arsenal. So I think it was absolutely key. But this is the first time really where, I thought first half Liverpool were really good. But second half it was poor. And if you actually look at the statistics, Wolves made more passes than Liverpool today. I actually thought the passing from Liverpool was a little bit sloppy, giving it away a little bit here and there. And I think, Konate, who was in my FPL, comes off at half time. So I get 0 points for him, but he needed to come off because he was giving the ball away. He could have got booked today. Trent gave the ball away a couple of times. There was a sloppiness there from Liverpool. So let's talk about the game, because there were some positives as well. There was definitely some positives. I thought Quansah was good. I thought Bradley was good. I thought Endo was good. I thought Diaz was good. I thought Szoboszlai was good. I think you look a little bit leggy, but you won the game. You got the 3 points. That's the most important thing. But Virgil van Dijk was holding that defence together. Virgil van Dijk, we're talking about Ballon d'Or, Salah, Rafinha, blah, blah, blah. Virgil van Dijk's got to be in that Ballon d'Or conversation. If Liverpool win the league and potentially even the Champions League, Van Dijk's got to be in that Ballon d'Or conversation, because Salah, the goals, the assists, the number Salah gets ridiculous, and Salah's a fantastic player. But to be honest, Van Dijk has been just as good as Salah for Liverpool this season, in my opinion. What Salah's doing is not normal, but Van Dijk is holding that defence together. I feel like Quansah looks so much better because he was next to Van Dijk, and he's having good game after good game after good game. I know he probably didn't have his best game versus Everton, but he's been consistently unbelievable this season. Van Dijk's the best centre-back in the Premier League, and there's a big gap, and then you've got Gabriel and Saliba, who are good players. And I felt that Liverpool looked a little bit nervous in the back. They were giving the ball away a little bit. They were a bit they invited a lot of pressure on. And in games like this, when you invite a lot of pressure on, the defence got a lot to do. And the defence had a bit to do because they were inviting too much pressure on. And I thought that Van Dijk dealt with it well. I thought Quansah dealt with it really well. I think Slot got that right. I thought Bradley had a good game. And I think Endo did well when he came on as well, winning that free kick. And I thought, to be honest, the pressure that Liverpool invited on in that second half, they dropped deep. They were basically, Liverpool were playing as if this was the last game of the season. and there was 1 point between them and Arsenal, and they needed to win the league. They were playing just defend, 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 and I think sometimes when you do that, you invite too much pressure on. Now, I don't know if that was Slot's instructions. I don't know if that was Liverpool getting a bit nervy, like we just got to get the 3 points. We dropped points to Everton, but it felt like Liverpool weren't taking risks. It felt like Liverpool were too passive. And I also noticed that there wasn't as much press, there wasn't as much aggression, there wasn't much intensity to go forward. I thought Luis Diaz had that intensity and drive to go forward in the first half, and he was probably a better performer in the first half. I thought Szoboszlai was the only player that I really saw pressing, looking to win that ball, push players off the ball, have that intensity. And obviously he almost scored a good goal today. He was finding space, getting the shots off, driving at people. I thought Szoboszlai had a good game. I thought Diaz had a good first half. He was running at the Wolves' place. He was threatening. I thought Salah looked tired. Salah does what Salah does. He gets a goal. He gets assist. He almost got another assist. He almost got another goal. He scored a fantastic goal that was offside. And Salah's one of those where if you just give him the ball and you give him a moment, you know he can produce and he can score big chances. Alisson, big 1v1 save as well. Alisson and Salah, world-class players and world-class moments. But I looked at the last 10 minutes and thought, could Chiesa come on? Could there be opportunities for Harvey Elliott, who's just not getting many minutes? And I get that wasn't impressive last game, but I think he's also playing with the B team. I think Harvey Elliott's, when he's come on and played with the A team at the Brentford game off the bench, you saw the impact he made in terms of breaking down the low block, but maybe it wasn't the right game state for Harvey Elliott because you're not breaking down the low block, you're hanging on to a lead, which is maybe why Chiesa could have been more fitted to that. I think when you're winning, Endo's the perfect sub. When you're drawing and you need to find a winner, I think Harvey Elliott's a good sub because he can break the low blocks, Endo can do the defensive job. But it was a poor second half performance from Liverpool. They were poor versus Everton in the second half. They were poor today. It wasn't convincing. 0.0 XG in that second half. I think that was probably their worst half performance under Arne Slot, if you want my honest opinion. I know the first half versus Ipswich, first game of the season, wasn't great. I know the second half versus Everton wasn't great. But it was the space that you were giving Wolves, players like Cunha, and I felt that you didn't do anything going forward other than the offside stuff, which was quite a good play. I would say that was probably one of Liverpool's poorest performances. And I don't know if it's fatigue, but they need to wake up. They need to wake up because while I think they win the league and they're 7 points clear, they're almost making it harder for themselves because they're acting like they're less confident in that with the very defensive approach. Cunha, guys, let's talk about Matheus Cunha. I mean, I spoke about him last year. I spoke about him back in May and I said Manchester United to sign him back in May. I mean, Manchester United, I don't know if you've seen our squad versus Tottenham. The game's going to kick off in 10 minutes, so I'm going to try and not make this match reaction too long. We've got nobody. Ahmad's out for the rest of the season. Maino could be out for the rest of the season. Martin is out for the rest of the season. Rashford's gone. Anthony's gone. And the things I would do for Cunha at Man United, unbelievable player. But Cunha's a brilliant ball carrier. He shoots the ball well. He can create something out of nothing. He can score. He's got good ball striking. He's powerful. You don't give Cunha space. He can make something happen. He's an unbelievable player. And to give the ball away, I think it was McAllister that did that, and then allow Cunha that space, even if it's on his weak foot, to get off that shot is ridiculous. Cunha's an absolutely different level player. He's too good for Wolves. He's a player that maybe Liverpool will look at. You can't be allowing him that space. I'm going to try and get through these notes quickly because I need to finish this before the United game. But I said this as well. Quansah did well since coming on with a crucial tackle at the end. I thought Quansah did really well, so credit to him because I've said this season I think he needs a loan. He's shaky, but he looked good, and I think having Van Dijk next to him gives that support. The 3 points at the end of the day is all that matters. To win titles, you have to win games, and you were not at your best. And you've won games and you've been brilliant this season. And, the last game or two, you've not been your most convincing, but you've won the game. And to win titles, you need to not be at your best and win games, and you did that today. And that's the difference between you and Arsenal. Arsenal can't always win those games. They don't have those game winners in them. At times this season, the Fulham game for Arsenal, for example, whereas Liverpool have the game winners in them, like a Salah or a Gakpo. When you're not at your best, Salah might have a quiet game and pop up in the 90th minute and get you that winner. And I think that's what puts Liverpool apart at the top of the table. I think the subs were right for the most part. I think Endo was clever. I think he could have come on. I said that Endo probably should have come on versus Everton to help with the lead. I thought Bradley was good. Quansah was good. Maybe Chiesa was unlucky. I don't think Trent had his best game. I think he's decent on the ball, but I think he gave it away a little bit today. And I thought that Bradley just did a better job defensively off the ball. I think also Matheus Cunha being on your side, it's not going to be easy. Is there an over-reliance on Salah to create and score goals? Obviously, Diaz was fantastic today. But, Liverpool in that second half, there wasn't any creativity. It was maybe they were too reliant on Salah. Alisson made a good 1v1 save, probably got 3 points for Liverpool today. But the energy levels weren't quite there for Liverpool. McAllister and Gravenberch, they're fantastic players, they're fantastic seasons, but they looked a little bit exhausted. There wasn't that desire to cover that ground or win those second balls or close down the space as quickly as Liverpool did earlier in the season. It was a little bit passive. It was a little bit side-to-side, low-risk football. We're 2-0 up against Wolves. Let's not take any risks. Let's not do this. Let's not do that. Let's try and outwork Wolves, pass it sideways, not give the ball away, which I can understand. But to do that for 45 minutes, I think it invited on too much pressure. But I thought Bradley was very, very good. But Van Dijk, absolutely fantastic again for Liverpool, and he does this nearly every game. He's carrying the defence because Liverpool's defence has been really good this season, but I think it's dropped off a little bit in recent games. And Van Dijk is holding that defence together. You know, he was unbelievable today. 3 interceptions, 3 accurate long balls, created a chance, was not dribbled past once, 10 clearances, and Van Dijk made more clearances, 5. This is the first half than the rest of his Liverpool teammates combined in the first half versus Wolves. He also won his duels. He was there. He was ready to get stuck in. And I think that, he was a leader at the back, and I think he was instructing others with what to do. And I think he really held that backline together because, as I said, don't think it was the best game from the Liverpool backline. I thought Diaz had a good game, more than just goals and assists. I thought he was running, pressing at players, trying to make things happen, close them down. I thought it was a very good first half from Diaz. I felt like every time he got the ball, something was going to happen. He was the bright spark. Not only did he win the penalty, not only did he score the goal, which he did well for there with his movement, but he was tracking back, doing the pressing, doing the work rate, but then he was also getting forward with intensity, drive, looking to make things happen, win the penalty. And I think when he's given his best role on the left wing and more freedom to attack the space, he's a better player. The big question Liverpool has is Diaz is better on the left, Gakpo is better on the left, and I guess it is finding that balance. Maybe Jota goes in the middle, who's been a bit hit and miss so far. I also want to give a shout out to Szoboszlai. I thought he was the best midfielder today. I think Gravenberch and McAllister are so key, and it's like you can't drop them. But I also think the Liverpool's midfield look a bit leggy. Couldn't Curtis Jones come in, for example? Would you drop McAllister for a game for Curtis Jones to come in? Because Gravenberch's irreplaceable. But I thought Szoboszlai was the marathon runner. He was getting stuck in. He was eager to make things happen today. I thought that Szoboszlai had a better game. Almost scored a good goal, creating space for himself. His movement is good. His understanding of the game is quite good. And I thought that Liverpool needed more of that today because I felt they looked lack of energy. They felt they looked leggy. I felt they looked tired. But the 2 people that stepped up were the academy players in Connor Bradley and Quansah today. They really impressed me. Konate, I think, has been one of Liverpool's best players this season at the start of the season pre-injury. And Quansah probably hasn't been. He probably needs a loan. He's been shaky. But I thought Konate coming off and Quansah coming on, Quansah had a much better game than Konate. It was a big game for Quansah. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching. I still think Liverpool win the league, but I have to say it's not the most convincing from Liverpool, is it? See you next time. Bye.